Hello, my name's Nick. I'm Associate Fundraiser at Drake Music. I'm a white man in my early 40s with dark brown hair and a black beard, and I'm sitting on my sofa and I'm here today to talk to you about Arts Council England and some of its funding opportunities for musicians and music projects. We really want to encourage and support disabled musicians to apply for funding to help you to develop your careers and to make great projects happen. So whether you're an emerging artist or more established, there are opportunities available, and I'm going to look at a couple of those today. The purpose of the Arts Council is to champion and develop arts and culture across the country. They get money from the government and from the National Lottery, which they invest in artists and arts organisations. And they fund projects that give people across England access to culture and creativity. So in this video, I will give a brief introduction to two of Arts Council England's funding programmes: National Lottery project grants and Developing Your Creative Practice. My aim is to give you a brief overview of both of these programmes, what is involved in applying to them, the kinds of things that they fund, and I'm also going to look at access support that is offered by Arts Council England. National Lottery project grants. So this is the Arts Council's main open access funding programme, which is for arts, museums and libraries projects. Every year they fund thousands of artists, community organisations and charities and cultural organisations through this programme. Project grants range from £1,000 to £100,000. And so if you're applying for £15,000 or less, they will take 6 weeks to give you a decision. If you're applying for more than £15,000, then it will take up to 12 weeks to get a decision. You can apply for a project grant as an individual or as an organisation, which may be a charity or a community group or a business. And they fund projects that might be music or theatre, dance, visual art, literature, or a combination of these things. So the main thing is they want to fund projects that help people to experience, become involved with, or participate in creativity and culture. For music projects, this could involve creating and recording new material, rehearsing and performing new work, touring live shows, or making creative digital content such as music videos or live broadcasts. It could be about collaborating with other musicians or other artists such as theatre makers or visual artists to experiment with new ideas. Or you might be working with an organisation to deliver music making workshops and opportunities for young people or other participants. The most important thing to think about is how your project is going to engage the public. That's the key thing to remember with National Lottery project grants. It's not just about you as an artist, it's about your audience. So how is your music going to involve other people? How is your creativity going to enrich other people's lives? To apply for a National Lottery project grant, you need to have a clear idea of what you want to achieve. So you need to think about what you want to do and why you want to do it. You need to think about who your audience is and what you want them to get out of it. And then you need to think about how your project's going to reach people. So think about marketing and how you're going to communicate about what you're doing. You'll also need to work out a project budget. So working out what it's all going to cost and how that's going to break down. So this will include your time and in any fees paid to other artists and other costs such as recording, venue hire, marketing, travel, equipment, and access costs. Until April 2021, you can apply for 100% of your project cost from the Arts Council. So there's no requirement to have match funding or funding from any other sources. However, if you do have income from other sources, perhaps money that you've raised from another grant or ticket income or merchandise sales, then you can include that, and it will probably strengthen your application to do so. The project grants application is quite detailed, and it asks you to include a project timeline. So when you're applying, you'll need to think about all aspects of the project, to include planning, delivery, marketing, and evaluation. And you need to apply well in advance. They won't fund any work that's happened already, so you need to make sure that you've got enough time between applying for a grant, waiting for them to make a decision before you start work on the project. There are no deadlines for the National Lottery Project Grants Programme, so you can apply it at any time. So that's a brief introduction to the Arts Council's National Lottery Project Grants Programme. So artists and organisations can apply for between £1,000 and £100,000 to fund projects that will help people experience or participate in creativity and culture. It could be funding to create new work, to reach new audiences, to undertake research and development, or something else entirely. The main thing to remember is that it needs to engage the public. So other people need to be involved with your work as audience members or participants. Developing your creative practice. The other Arts Council funding programme that I'm going to look at today is called Developing Your Creative Practice, or DYCP. Now, this is a funding programme that's open to individuals. It's designed for early to mid-career artists to provide funding to help them to make a major change in their career or to try a new way of working. You can apply for between £2,000 and £10,000, and the funding's there to support you to experiment, collaborate, and make a change in your career. So the funding might help you to spend time creating new work, or might support travel costs, or training and development, or mentoring. It's designed to help you take risks, to experiment with collaborators, and to explore and develop your creative practice. So you might want to apply for funding to attend festivals or conferences to develop your experience. It could be about paying for training, for instance, developing skills in recording skills or music technology. Or it could be helping with your marketing, funding the creation of a website or music video or vlog, or to spend time researching a new project or a particular area of your work, or to explore collaborations and partnerships. Or maybe it's just about giving you the time you need to create new work and to take the next step up in your career in music. In the application, you need to answer questions about your work and about your achievements to date. So this is no time to be shy. You really need to talk about what you've done in the past, what you've created, who you've worked with, what you've achieved, and really big up your achievements. You'll also need to give an example of your work, so an audio file or a video. Then you need to explain what you'd like the funding for. So what would you like to do? How much is it going to cost? And what difference will that make? So think about why it would be important for you to have this funding, why it would be important to have it now, and what the impact on your career will be. For instance, will it help you to work in a different way or engage with new audiences in the future? As part of the application, you need to show how the costs break down. As with the National Lottery project grants, you need to think about fees for your time, for any other musicians or artists that you're working with, as well as costs like travel, training, mentoring, and personal access costs. You also need to provide an activity plan. So you need to think about the main stages of the activity. You can apply for DYCP funding for up to 1 year. So you need to think about what you'll be doing in that year to include planning, networking, training, research, evaluation, and so on. Finally, you're going to need to submit supporting document written by somebody else. So that could be a review of a live performance or a recording, or a letter of support from an organisation that you've worked with in the past. There are 4 deadlines a year for DYCP, and decisions are usually made within 9 weeks. All Arts Council applications, whether the project grants or DYCP, all of them are done via an online application portal, which is called Grantium. So if you're going to apply, you will need to register on Grantium, which can be accessed via the Arts Council website. And talking of the Arts Council website, there's lots of useful stuff on there, including videos, downloads, and case studies. There's really useful information, including BSL interpreted videos and audio versions of the guidelines. So if you're interested in finding out more, it's well worth having a look there. Access support. The Arts Council want to make their funding accessible to everyone, so they have access support that's available to help artists overcome barriers to making applications. This could include funding for a personal assistant to act as a note taker, or to help with making the online application. Or it could be British Sign Language interpretation for meetings. You can also make your application in British Sign Language. When you're applying for funding, you should also include any personal access costs that are related to the delivery of the project, as well as costs that will help to make your activity accessible to other people. So this could include a BSL interpreter for an event, or making a publication in Braille, or ensuring that a project website is compatible with screen readers. To find out more, the Arts Council has a very helpful customer services team who are available on 0845 300 6200, or by emailing inquiries@artscouncil.org.uk. So when I was putting together this video, I got in contact with Drake Music associate musician Jo-anne Cox to ask her about her experience of applying to and being funded by Arts Council England. Jo-anne successfully received funding from the Arts Council through the National Lottery Project Grants programme in 2018. Jo-anne's a creative contemporary cellist who makes work on her own, as well as in collaboration with other musicians, artists and performers. She received funding from the Arts Council to support the research and development for a new inclusive electric cello show. Jo-anne's aim was to explore how she could make a performance truly inclusive and accessible, while also creating and performing new electric cello compositions. Jo-anne's words are read here by my colleague Abigail.
Arts Council funding enabled me to explore the use of innovative technology, interactive digital arts, dance scarves and immersive stage lighting with live cello, and to put this all together for a test performance. It was whilst pulling the test performance together that I wrote Defiant Journey, an inclusive electric cello show, which was the main product of the research and development.
With the support of the Arts Council, Jo-anne was able to collaborate with a lighting designer and music technologist, and together they created an interactive and immersive experience for audiences. I'll show you a clip of the test performance at the end of this video. It's a really amazing piece of work which kind of weaves access and inclusion right through the project. The show which resulted was called Defiant Journey, and it's presented as a relaxed event style with BSL interpreter and audio description. It also includes music technology. So, for instance, audience members were able to contribute to the music via iPads. I asked Jo-anne about her experience of applying to the Arts Council and if she had any hints and tips to share with other musicians who are thinking of doing the same.
Drake Music introduced me to a music advisor from the Arts Council. The advice I received there was invaluable. I would not have been successful without that advice. Do seek out and take on board advice from Arts Council England.
Jo-anne also explained how she used access support from the Arts Council.
The funding Arts Council England offers for access support for the application process is excellent, and if two specific areas of support are required, which may require two different people, the Arts Council are open to discussing this.
Unfortunately, the Arts Council doesn't have an approved list of access support workers currently, so it's down to you to find the right person. If you don't have someone that you're already working with, then you can always ask an organisation like Drake Music for advice on how to go about finding somebody. Jo-anne explained to me that it took some time for her to find the right access support worker, but now that she has done, she's really hung on to that person and she's still working with them today. Jo-anne also had some great advice for musicians who are thinking of applying to the Arts Council for funding.
If you haven't been funded by the Arts Council before, apply for less than the maximum amount.
So start small. You can always ask for more money once you've completed your project successfully and they've seen how amazing you are. Jo-anne's next tip was about the importance of partnerships.
It's really important to have good support for your project from established partner arts organisations.
There's lots of competition for this funding, so it can be tough. if you're an early career musician and you're still building your profile. So it's important to make the most of any partnerships that you have. This could be venues or festivals that you've worked with, or community arts organisations, or charities like Drake Music. The Arts Council might not yet know about you, but they will know about these other organisations, and it will really strengthen your application to show that they are supporting you, and they think you're great.
It's not the end if you do not receive funding the first time. The great thing about Arts Council England is they offer feedback and the opportunity to try again.
So if at first you don't succeed, make sure you ask for feedback, take it on board and try again. Thank you so much to Jo-anne Cox for talking to me about her work and for sharing her experience and her advice with us. That's all from me. I hope that this video has given you a useful introduction to the Arts Council funding programmes, the National Lottery project grants, and developing your creative practice. To finish the video, we're going to show a short extract from Jo-anne Cox's interactive cello experience, Defiant Journey.
Jo-anne plays her electric cello in near darkness. Laura, a BSL interpreter, signs under a bright light to show the mood of the music. The dark purple cello sparkles with glitter under faint blue lights. It has a traditional wide base and shoulders, but is sucked in tight at the waist, like an hourglass. A sonic saga told by a musician and her electric ally, her dragon cello. Paper lanterns pulse with light as Jo-anne plays each note. Pink, blue, green and purple. Audience quote, "A wonderful, colourful, moving, magical journey. A very complete performance, full of opportunities to co-create and be contributors to the journey."
That was an extract from the test performance of Defiant Journey by Jo-anne Cox, filmed by Oliver Cross. For more information, go to cello.joannesonia.live. This video has been produced as part of Drake Music's Digital Connect project. Funding from the Coronavirus Community Support Fund, distributed by the National Lottery Community Fund, along with the Paul Hamlin Foundation and the Garrick Charitable Trust, has helped us to create Digital Connect. For more information, go to drakemusic.org.